Hello, my fellow Helldivers. Well, I shouldn't say that because this video is more of me finally addressing the backlog of videos I've been trying to make. Real life needs to take a break. As for anyone interested in any suggestions, tips, and tricks, well, with 50 hours of gameplay in Helldivers 2, you're not really going to get this. And this is more of a rant video, I guess you'd say, my thoughts and opinions, just a real introductory video for myself into this game. And if there's any other, like in the system, filthy casuals who haven't spent hundreds of hours playing this game and aren't divided over developer decisions and new player ideologies forming, yeah, like and subscribe, but I don't think anyone is actually going to be here. This is now just for me. This has been a hell of a Jerry Springer-esque ride, for all the Gen X millennials out there. You know who I'm talking about. For the Gen Z, it's just drama theater. It is. So, if you actually watch the YouTube videos and stuff on Helldivers 2, I think a lot of like casual players don't even bother. They just play the game. Lucky sons of bitches. But I have been so far enjoying the struggle playing Helldivers 2. Getting the stratagem down is going to be a little challenging. I think I'm pretty good at remembering the resupply stratagem. That has been mostly taxing as I'm denying the fact that I may be developing carpal tunnel in my left hand. That seems to be a problem. There is such... I really do like the game. I have played on level 6 extreme, which playing with randoms seems to be as far as I want to go. I've been accepting most of the friend requests I get, so... But I've, get back to my thoughts on the game, starting off with the obvious Sony just unloading both barrels into their foot, and now, yeah, that was one of those things of like, why did you have to incorporate PC into this? Yes, they have the larger customer base, but yeah, Sony, even though Sony makes computers, I guess they don't know PC gamers very well. So that was the first major blow up in their face. And ever since then, there's definitely been a... I guess there's sort of three sides. Sony's like the distributor, Arrowhead's the developer, and then there's us, the players, possibly a fourth side now with the Chaos Divers, which... Yeah, we've gone from being a harmonious group to now being toxic, having a small group being toxic to everybody. It seems like you're now justifying the exact reason / lie that Sony wanted everyone to have a PlayStation Network account. Kind of don't see that. I kind of feel like you're doing what Sony's bidding here, so you're having fun, and you know, fifth columnists did exist in the previous wars, so good on you, boys and girls. Oh God, that's true. We have to accept that, and that's fine. What isn't fine though, and this is probably like my biggest complaint, and it's being sort of addressed by the developers, is lack of air support. Like, I mean, we have the spear, commando, heavy machine. We have weaponry to address the bot drop ships, but like, where is the anti-air stratagem? Where is the Eagle air-to-air stratagem? Where is our air-to-air drone support? Which would be cool, because if you had an anti-air guard dog that you could either deploy and had like 2 missiles that could take out a dropship, and then you had to call in a new one, so you have to worry about a 3-minute cooldown. Or you could pilot it, but you, of course, you're always leaving yourself exposed, and at the higher difficulties, those patrols will find you. Again, you only have 2 missiles, and that's it. You know, like Modern Warfare showing us how impactful drones are, and here with Helldivers 2 is like it seems like there's portions of our technological might that is true. It is truly powerful. Like, that's why the Arrowhead was talking about, we need you to use the stratagems more and use team tactics more, because, well, lo and behold, like so many new wars, you go to war with your previous war's weapons, and sometimes they're just not good enough. And as this is supposed to be a commentary on Western nations' false sense of superiority, as an American, you know, yeah, Vietnam taught us something, Afghanistan taught us some more. But anyway, yeah, about going to war with the previous war's weapons and not being adequately equipped. See the issue of the M14 versus the M16 in Vietnam. I kind of felt that if Arrowhead was trying to go for something realistic, that's what they should have done, as opposed to nerfing. Oh no, this rifle is underpowered. Well, and we will develop a new one, but you have to wait for it. So stick together and use your, you know, concentrated fire. As for nerfing a fiery shotgun, honestly, anything involving flames I feel should deprive our Helldiver of oxygen. And the flamethrower, certainly. Like, we don't have an air tank, and speaking of flamethrowers, I hate those fucking homes. Alright, this is a PG-13 stream. I can get away with 1 F-bomb. There is something to be, you know, kind of like used. If we can get blown up, then that means, you know, like we found out with like some World War II soldiers. It's like, yeah, man, they kind of, the flamethrower, when we used it, kind of felt like it was sucking, you know, the oxygen out of our lungs. You had to be careful. You actually had to prepare for it. And I was thinking, why not do that here? Deprive us, like, reduce our stamina. That's all I'm saying. Like, oh, which isn't a huge punishment until you want to run away, because we're taking so much concentrated fire. That's just my thought on it. Nothing major. As far as tactics go, I've been sort of developing a scout type playstyle. Not so much for the better, but more for the worse, but I'm trying. I like to keep my distance, but at the same time, I shouldn't keep my distance. It's fun. There is, again, this game was a victim of its own success, which was really surprising. Wow, did it not come out during a time when there was a new Call of Duty release, another Battlefield, Fortnite wasn't really doing anything new, like, wow. And with the world as games as a service slowly beginning to crumble, it was like, as so many said, a breath of fresh air, especially when it was like, if you just play this game, you'll eventually get all the supplies you need to buy, like, the actual money stuff, the actual war bond money. I actually bought one of the armors that actually allows you to throw 30% farther, which is something I felt was necessary, because I'm so close to dropping stratagems too close to me, or, you know, if something's farther away and the stratagem bounces back towards me, at least it's not as close. That was my thought, and it seems to be proven to be fruitful. Again, only 50 hours of gameplay, so there is the victim of its own success was very surprising. I think people were just desperate for a PvE shooter, because PvP is getting worn out. Again, I understand why people are like, why are we nerfing weapons in a PvE? Can't you just make the enemy tougher? Yes, you can, while nerfing you. And I think that's just one of those things of, Arrowhead didn't intend us to have so many skilled players so fast. And that was just because of how quickly this became a successful game. I'll be honest, I was very surprised to start seeing like the solo videos at the higher difficulties, like, and then I hear about nerfs and I'm like, I don't, yeah, that kind of like, oh, when a developer's like, they're soloing higher difficulties, you mean they're getting wrecked at higher difficulties when they solo? Like, not really. It's like, oh, that's not the sense of inferiority we're trying to convey here at this stage of the game. That's where it's like, you're a real, like, sometimes, yes, we went to war and we found out the only thing we could do was just bomb and drop a ton of artillery rounds onto an area. Then we would go in with, you know, our single fire rifles. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. It's not that extreme, but it was like, wow, the whole idea of semi-automatic versus automatic rifles now coming to a head is a bit of an issue here, man. See the Falkland Wars, which was a great time for, because we actually got to see what a semi-automatic rifle versus its automatic self looked like. I don't have any Argentinian fans, so I don't think I'm upset anyone there, but again, man, colonizing, oh, that's part of this too. You know, politics and gaming, it happens. We have to, it's what makes it actually interesting. Unless you don't want to think, which you can totally do here. Have fun playing at level 4. But it's just now very interesting to see what the player base is doing. Again, there's going to be no coherencies. I'm actually, like I said, I'm so behind on my video backlog that I'm doing this as early in the morning as I possibly can function with a few sips of coffee. But it was, I think the idea Arrowhead had for this game was interesting. Again, dealing with the false propaganda promising us that we were superior, and then it's like, not as superior. Yeah, as a, my country's been finding out the hard way. And sometimes a long way, too. God, 20 years in Afghanistan. And so, that was obviously Starship Troopers. Which, it's going to be interesting as Starship Troopers Extermination tries to now become a serious game, and as the rumblings grow, as the Emperor grows more angry. Space Marines 2. That comes out in September. That's going to be a very interesting direct head-to-head to Helldivers 2, and I think now with the recent patch and nerfs, it's going to be interesting how that unfolds. And how many players leave. And how few are left. Man, if only we had those 170 nations with their player base to help keep Helldivers going, but egos will always seem to trump logic. Sadly, it's weird though. It's like, oh, no greed? Greed will not win out here? No, alright. Pride. Great. So, as you can see, for the record, I do enjoy, for whatever oddly masochistic reason, I enjoy fighting the automatons. There's something about them shooting back that I like, but the Terminids, this is just more about swarm tactics, and the bots sort of do that. They obviously do that too, but I don't know. It just seems more authentic. Or more if it's just that little extra challenge that I prefer versus the bugs. I don't know. I was surprised when I was like, oh yeah, I actually prefer going up against the more difficult enemy. Which has just gotten, yeah. Yeah, they put rockets on the Striders? Great, that's what they need. mobile artillery. They actually did, yes, get a mobile artillery tank too. So, which I think sort of feeds into the notion of, oh, the enemy was better prepared than for us than we were. We kind of got lured in, not into a trap. Malevolent Creek, which I will say I was not there. I started playing after that, and that was one of the reasons why I kept becoming more interested in Helldivers 2 and eventually played. I don't know of how many games have you take a plane and just turn into a black hole. So that was also sadly, well, cool, but it was sad to hear about and not experience. This has been, the slow story's been very interesting, and it's very concerning now to see how the interaction between developers and players is. But then again, I play, my main online game is World of Tanks console, or Modern Armor I should say. And yeah, developer-player disconnect. I was sort of like, when I started hearing about this Helldivers 2, I'm like, I don't understand why you guys are complaining. This is a thing. I'm a veteran of this crap. So, it wasn't quite suck it up, Buttercup, but it's just like, oh, some developers can't learn from the mistakes of others. Okay. I guess it's a byproduct being what, in Sweden? I don't know. I can't hate on them much. They get like 4 months off in summer to live and not be, you know, constantly thinking about work. So, I can't hate them on that much, too much. But, again, they are making decisions that go, this is a PvE game, which so balancing, it's kind of like balancing certain weapons seems to be counterintuitive, and it's a fan favorite. I personally don't, I get why shotguns are great against Terminids, but I still might prefer my rifles, which I wish they had more of. But hey, they're the ones sort of in control. Until Sony wants to flex again, and if the Chaos Divers are patient enough to finally piss off enough of the regular player base to then eventually cause enough of an uproar, the developers are here. But that I don't necessarily agree with that kind of briefing. But it seems to be kind of becoming part of the game, and that's sort of interesting. Like I said, yeah, sometimes you do have dissidents among the ranks, and that's also real. I don't know if the developers meant to have to inspire it like this, but I think it was supposed to be, if they were, it'd be more a part of like a storyline, like illuminate propaganda, getting too truthful or just too impactful. I don't know. But this is, it would be very sad if like at some point next year on this game's 1-year birthday, it's like, yeah, it's virtually dead, and the players, and it would be kind of like, well, it was one part the players, 2-part Sony, and half a part Arrowhead, just kind of being trapped in the middle. That makes that kind of cocktail doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess some people like to put whipped cream on their cocktails. Don't look at me. I just drink beer. So we're hitting the 20-minute mark. The caffeine's barely working, and I just wanted to get this off my chest for just myself. And if you stuck around, thank you. Will more Helldivers 2 content come along? Yes. When I find the time to commit to playing it. Sadly, when a 40-minute mission does take 40 minutes, it's kind of like, well, that was an intense ride, and now I'm kind of burnt out. Oh, you little, my little spawn need to be fed. All right. What's this about having to Why do the four-legged beings require sustenance? Is that snow I need to shovel? No, not snow. It's too early. It is too early. It's August, so there shouldn't be snow. That's just me getting already scared from winter. Y'all think it's winter's fun, but yeah, that just means you have no respect for it, I swear. So, I'll end it there. I hope you keep on diving. I hope the bots don't trap you in a corner. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. By the way, I'll just let the video keep playing just so you can see how almost competent I was on certain occasions. Mostly not. I'm pretty sure I didn't bounce any grenades off any banners in this video. That was embarrassing. No, that was a stratagem. So it's nice to learn the hard way. You grab the 380 millimeter stratagem, barrage stratagem, and not the 120 when you throw it and you start walking away, but you look at it and it says 380 and you're like, oh dear God, what have I done? But hey, that's part of the fun. And I will give this tip. Oh my God, at the very end I'll give you an honest tip. I know everyone wants to rush into the mission and launch. Please ignore them yelling at you, because take your time to make sure you have the loadout you want. Some of those pictures are small and the text is tiny, and you may not actually take out the spear like you thought you were. It's just the eat, which is also fine, but just take a few seconds to double check your work is all I'm saying. Alright, I'm done now. Goodbye.
Requesting orbital.
Engaging orbital laser.
That's it. weapon.
Dropping a pin, northwest, 50 meters.
I'm out.
Dropship.
Requesting orbital.
Proceed to extraction when ready. Calling in extraction. Extraction shuttle inbound. Tagging map, north, 100 meters.
Dropping a pin. Northeast, 100 meters. Requesting advanced weaponry. Reinforcing.
Helldivers not at extraction site. Pelican 1 landing aborted. Regaining altitude.
Orbital inbound. Sending in an eagle.
I can't pick up the samples.
extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Good job.
Victory was never in doubt.
You're a lucky son of a.
Lots of enemies killed, lots of samples collected. That's a good mission in my